Okay, let's talk about these sparring gloves. Overall, I think these gloves are really great. They allow for a lot of dexterity, a lot of finesse with the weapon. You can actually do things you couldn't normally do before, just getting ready with your gear. I have to say, having all 5 fingers available to manipulate objects is very good. The hard plastic on the tips has worked out really well for me. It's really nice and rigid, but it still allows for a lot of dexterity with your hands, as opposed to other gloves. I haven't had any trouble with this. This works really well. The only problem I've had with the arm is that I had a lot of trouble getting it over my gambeson sleeve. I don't have a particularly thick gambeson. I have a Naiman gambeson, the Renaissance style Naiman, and I had to loosen it to even get it over my sleeve. So maybe an alternative to this longer one is more of an hourglass gauntlet shape that comes out to maybe about half here and is more of a traditional hourglass gauntlet style. So the issue that I ran into with these guys is right here under the thumb, because this is where I got hit, and it's an obvious place to get hit because if you're right-handed and you're holding the sword, if you don't have your quillin placement right on, it will get smacked right here, is that we have this little bit of stuff here and no additional armor or padding between this and where your thumb is down here. So there's not a lot going on as far as protection from a strike in what I feel is a very obvious place. This is nice and firm, but again, there's no impact resistance here, so any strikes you get here are going to leave boo-boos if you don't have anything to absorb the impact underneath. Like I was thinking just blue camp pad foam, which is about maybe a centimeter or so thick, would do wonders just to help with that. The other issue I ran into is, and I didn't think it would be an issue when I first started fighting, because I was like, oh, nobody's ever going to hit me in this tiny little spot. But apparently I did. I did take a few hits there, or at least 1 or 2 good ones. And yeah, the impact from the edge of this little thing right here does go to this area here where there's not any kind of padding between the fingers. So something along the edge here and underneath the thumb that can help absorb the impact would be great, because as I said before, I do have gloves. Like I know a lot of people wear gloves underneath their mitts, and they're usually like motorcycle gloves or a tight-fitting type of glove that has small padding on it. And I have a pair of those, but I couldn't get them to fit inside of this glove. This here, even though it's not connected, it is very tight. So it is, I do like this. I like how it fits nice and tight around the wrist, considering I have tiny wrist. A teeny tiny wrist. I could put my whole finger around my wrist like that. So having this around the wrist is nice. The glove fit fine. It's just this knit material. Once I even did get my gloved hand past this point, it caught and bundled up on the inside, trying to get it inside of this glove. So it's really, I found it, I could not get an additional glove inside this. Maybe some other people have better luck with that, but I tried a few times to do it, and I just couldn't get my hand in. And if I had one of these gloves on and I had to get there's no way I would have the dexterity to get another glove on, even if I could. So yeah, really hard to get another type of glove with padding on underneath these due to the rigidity of the wrist piece and the texture and grabbiness of the cloth glove. So incorporating some kind of padding to absorb impact, particularly in this area, especially this area, and around the top of the hand would be really beneficial. I know a lot of clamshell stuff, they don't, but they don't have another glove that's like this built in that kind of inhibits you from wearing an additional glove with padding underneath. So that's really the only thing I could say that could be an improvement on these gloves is, for myself, since I have big gambeson sleeves, just shorten it and make it more of an hourglass gauntlet style. And so I have room for my gambeson sleeve. And then additional some kind of impact resistant or absorbing material in key places here and along the knuckles on the other side. I did not run into a problem at all, obviously looking at my hand with my fingertips. My fingertips didn't take any blows. If they did, it didn't hurt me. So yeah, the only places that gave me trouble was right here and along this area right here. So I hope you find that helpful in any kind of alterations you want to make to your model. Otherwise, I think this is a really great glove. It's the most comfortable glove I've ever worn. Definitely has the highest amount of dexterity available of any glove. So overall, I think it's a really good design that could just use a little bit more tweaking. Thank you.